Yeah, we're going to do a bit of planting here. This is John Lord, in John Lord's Not So Secret Garden, and we're going to plant up here. What happened is we cut this back. This Buddleja globosa, not globosa, globosa is one of the parents, weyeriana it's called, weyeriana, and it had come out as far as here, so we cut it back, and then we got an opportunity. And we had these Cotinus here, it's called, young lady, and they weren't doing very well, just didn't like it. So we took 2 out, and we're going to take this one out. We're going to do a little job on this plant here. Should have been pruned back before. It's called oh, it's spiky. It's based on a Rugosa rose. It's a Dutch form of a Rugosa rose from Japan. It's Grootendorst, pink Grootendorst. And we're going to get rid of all. So we have our spot here. This is going to go. Young lady. And some people like it. We'd pot that up actually. It just wasn't right there. But some people, as I say, some people like it. Someone will buy it. You can see it will grow away. We put it out of the sun. And just look at this here. It's the thing about a garden, as it evolves, you change what you're going to do. This was put here. It's the upright beech. Upright purple beech, and it was meant to be the main feature. This was meant to be the biggest plant, and then this was the start of the run, and all the way down all the other plants this would be the sort of plant which you turn, where the border turns the border and starts a new border off. Problem is, I planted birch trees behind, so little whips, little tiny whips, about 5 years ago, and the birch trees have done really well. And this is not needed anymore. So we're going to take this out, but it's too valuable a plant to take out now and take a chance. So in the winter time we'll dig this out and, I don't know, maybe sell it, or probably get somewhere else to plant it, but that will move very easily in the winter. So that's going to go. So that doesn't exist in the planting now because it's going to go. We're going to take out these grasses because it's too shady for them. That's Molinia transparent, a really good late flowering grass, very ornamental, very attractive, and it's kind of a classy plant. I love it. It even looks good now. But it's called a purple. It's based on the purple moor grass, and in moors you tend to get a lot of wind and rain, particularly wind. So they don't like being enclosed that much. That would be far better off in an open situation. And we'll just pot them up. And I'm not even sure whether they flower this year, but they will certainly sell this year. Now we see what we have. See, it's always a good idea. You can see what you have. I still think that rose, not happy with that rose. I'm not happy. I think that rose wants to be cut like that. It's just gone too floppy. So we won't do it now, but we'll do it. We won't do it this minute, but we'll do it very shortly because we have another nice rose here. One of the dwarf polyantha roses, so that doesn't need to fall on top of it. And then we have another job to do. There's Astrantia maxima there, and Astrantia maxima is an old Astrantia, an old species, and it is being superseded by modern ones which are far better, and it's also a little invasive, so that should all go as well, and then we get an opportunity for planting more stuff. And the thing about gardeners is we love opportunities, because we don't see bare ground as something that's bad. We see it as an opportunity, or as they say in America, an opportunity. Now we'll start what we're going to plant. We're going to plant this new Crocosmia. It's called Hellfire, and it will be similar to Crocosmia Lucifer, which is the really most popular one, but it's, in my mind, Lucifer's a bit in the tall side, but seemingly it has no orange or yellow in the red. It's a pure red. So we're going to plant this here, and that's the Rudbeckia Goldsturm. So yellow daisy, and with a broadish, with a sort of a whitish leaf, compared to this with very grassy leaf. That's here. Now, remember, this is going to go, so we don't count that. And maybe that, and this is going to go. This is Geranium, pyrenaicum, and it self-seeds everywhere. That's how we never planted that. Never ever planted, but it's lovely. So that will also be potted on. Now we can see what we have. Alstroemeria here, Cornus, kousa, Satomi, which is gorgeous, one of the best of the Korean Cornuses, but it didn't flower well this year. There's only 1, 2, about 10 flower bracts in the whole plant, and that would normally just be completely covered in flower, and everybody wants it. Everyone would want it, and then we'd never have enough to sell. Nobody wants it this year. It's a funny plant. Maybe every 4th, maybe every 5th year we get this, and then other years it's just amazing. There's no rhyme or reason. I don't understand it. So we need something here. That's yellow later on. I got a job lot of plants in to sell. And I like the thing about job lots of plants, which I like, you always get something that you don't have. You'll always something. And we got an Aster called divaricatus, which is this very small flowered Aster from North America. And I looked it up on the internet, which is never wrong. And it grows in semi-woodlandy situations in America, North America, which means it will tolerate a bit of shade. Some Asters need the full sun. So it's whitish. So we're going to put that there. And that'll cover. And more or less that there. And we'll, in future, we're going to keep manners on the Buddleja. We're not going to let it go as mad anymore. And finally, another North American plant. Now, what's the story here? A bit of a gap. What do we do? Do we put more Aster in? Do we put more Crocosmia in? Or do we put a third plant in? I don't know. This is a Joe Pye weed, which is from North America, but it's one I've never had before. It's called Snowball. White, obviously. And we're going to put this behind. The great thing about having a garden centre is you don't have to be precise when you bring stuff out, because if you bring too much out, you just bring them back to sell. And if you don't bring enough out, you just go back and get more and hope that some member of the public hasn't bought them while you're out, which often happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we need 5, 6. And finally, so 5, 6, and that's that bit done. We leave that there, maybe one more here. No, we leave that. And then here, I think we'll plant a campanula, blue campanula lactiflora. A nice big blue campanula can go in there, and that will take the shade. And if it flops, they can be Chelsea chopped as well. So you can do lots with campanula lactiflora. So that's it. That's what we're going to do. And we just plant one, just to see. Just to see what the ground is like. As usual, it's terrible. We've had a nice little bit of rain over the last while, and we had 6 weeks of nothing and a little bit of rain. And I'm not a great believer in irrigating gardens because I just think it's wasteful. But we had to do a little bit of emergency irrigation. Now that's one planted. Now that's the best soil in Ireland, believe it or not. That is the best soil in Ireland. That never has to be fed, nothing. That will take off, and people will say, how did you get that to grow so well? And I will say, I don't know. And look here, that's the sun that's done that does that. When the sun goes away later on, it straightens up, but it might be no harm to throw out a drop of water. Anyway, that's it. Now before we go, let's just look at I mentioned this already, but I'm going to mention it again. I mentioned this on YouTube. I can't resist it. The combination between the soft blue diffuse wispy catmint and the stronger, more definite orange of the Geum. As I said before, I think we totally think it's totally tangerine. Isn't that gorgeous? Now that's me doing. I actually did that, and like, I'm not good at colours because I just bang the stuff down. But sometimes if you keep doing stuff, eventually you get something right. And that's it. That's what you do with gardening. You keep doing it, and eventually something right will come out at the other end. This is a few days later, and the weather's after changing, and it's a bit rainy, and I got the old haircut and all. So it's the same person. We started. It's one of these jobs you start off, and then it sort of gets legs. We ended up taking out the rose, which was about there. We took it out completely. I cut it, and I cut it a bit more, and I cut it a bit more and a bit more, and then I said, I get the pickaxe, took it out. And we decided to make a few changes with planting. Now that's the Aster divaricatus. It's lovely foliage. And we have the skinny grass-like foliage of the Crocosmia. And now we're going to put a very large leaf Rodgersia called Hercules. The labourers, and I've did the labours of Hercules here. That's going to go there. So you can see all the different, before even there's a flower, you have all the different textures. You have the plainish leaf of the Rudbeckia, which is going to have lovely yellow flowers. And then we put a white Eupatorium, large white Eupatorium. And then this is an Aruncus. It's one called Horatio, and it's halfway between the really big one and the small one, the really small one, Etusifolius. It's a hybrid between the two. And it's much looser and lighter than what's behind, where you have the very large leafed inula type plant. It's actually called Bufftalmum speciosum. That's very rough. And beside it we have a very large Filipendula from Siberia. And you see big, so it's all a leafy effect. And the flowers are going to be really good. That's the really, really red, the reddest, I think, of the red hot pokers of the Crocosmias. So it's even good. So even if the flowers are only indifferent, you're still getting a good effect. So there we are. And I won't be, and I have to remind myself not to be going digging out roses anymore until I get my knee done, because my knee was a little bit knackered and now it's totally knackered. So I'll have to get other people to do the heavy work in future, and stop being so what would the word be, so in something, you know, when you can't, you know, when you're very what's the word, not imperfect, you know, when you can't wait, what's the word, impatient. Stop being so impatient. Gardeners are not supposed to be impatient, but funny enough, gardeners are the most impatient group of people you'll ever come across.